The magic of Mullett Arena stays alive. The Arizona Coyotes stay hot at home at Mullett Arena, sweep the season series versus the New York Islanders the first time since the Winnipeg Jets in 1979-80.
Yeah, I was going to say, where were you, Leah? But
I wasn't yet a thought. But thank you all so much for tuning into the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters. Craig Morgan will be calling in from Mullett Arena shortly. But Petey, the Coyotes, they just dominate at home.
Dominate the Islanders. And like the manager in Major League said, 3 games makes a winning streak. And that's 3 in a row at the Mullett. And so it's officially a winning streak at home at the Mullett. Home ice advantage, is it real? Absolutely, it's real. Again, they're beating good teams here. They beat the Boston Bruins, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. And earlier in the year, they beat Toronto. Wasn't a Mullett.
Once a show.
But they did beat Toronto, too. They swept the New York Islanders. This is a team that's a playoff team right now. They shut them out in New York. This one, they were down by 2. And this is the first time the Islanders have lost after being ahead in the first period. They were 7-0 and when leading after the first period. So the Coyotes handed them their first loss. It's a tale of 3 different teams, maybe. I don't think the Coyotes came out in the first. I don't think that's the first time we looked at Veggie and go, ooh.
Yeah.
I know that one was tipped and but that first one I think he'd like to have back, and he usually doesn't give up those kind of goals.
Yeah.
But he battles back. In the second period, the Coyotes dominate on the shot chart. They were so much better in the second period, and then the third period, the Islanders heated up.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned that they wouldn't be able to hang on. But again, it's that magic Mullett.
I know, and I have to give it up for the Coyotes because coming into this season, we knew this team would be toward the bottom, and they are. But they compete night after night, and the Islanders were putting it on them at the end. I was nervous, and they ended up scoring with a minute 39 left. I thought they very easily could have tied it up there, and the Coyotes, laid their bodies on the line. They're keeping it close. They're competing. They're not just putting their hands up and giving up, which they easily could have done at multiple points throughout this game, especially going down 2-0 after, the first few minutes there in the first period. So big credit to the whole Coyotes group. It's a team that doesn't
quit.
Yeah, they don't. And I think that's starting, now that we're about a third of the way into the season, we're starting to get that sense of what this team's identity is. And that's their identity, is they don't quit, and they compete. It's
a team that works hard, and that's what we said we've asked for. You look at the lopsided wins a year ago by the opponents over the Coyotes, and they were frequent. And they started off with the shellacking in Columbus, and it got worse at several times during the year. This year it's been twice. Dallas beat them pretty handily at Mullett right before they left for that really long road trip, and I think it was probably just the timing of that one. And the Edmonton Oilers really took it to them the last game of the 14-game trip in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Other than those 2 games, you look at this and you go, gosh, they're in every game. And this one, even down by 2, you go, Vejmelka just needs to make a few more saves, and they're going to get one. And now they believe in it themselves. And once the room believes in it and they believe they can come back, that's just contagious. They're more likely to be able to do it again because they've done it this time. And we say it's someone different every night. And tonight, and I saw CWP mention it in the chat, Boyd Howdy. Boyd Howdy.
Minnesota was well represented on the score sheet tonight, Petey.
Boogie. Boogie, I know you're listening on the way home. I put my vote in again for the King. We'll have to wait to see if I had any other support. But you're right. Those are 2 guys that stepped up tonight. And Keller, again, it's starting to be Keller every night, but it's always somebody else. It's Krause one night, it's Michelli one night, it's, tonight it happens to be Boyd. So I think that's what we're seeing with this team. It's somebody different every night, pulling the rope and getting this team through to the other side. And I tell you what, it's exciting to watch. And that atmosphere in the Mullett, if it's anything like it looks like on TV, that atmosphere is fantastic. I didn't hear about any fights
in the crowd. There were a couple on the ice.
Maybe we left it there. Yeah, that's for the best.
Exactly. And the players that are getting paid the money to perform are performing. Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, multiple points for both of them tonight. We'll dive more into their play in just a moment, but let's dive into the numbers tonight because, Petey, you mentioned it. The Coyotes were so close to outshooting their opponent for just the 3rd time this season. The last time against the New York
York
Islanders
Yep.
and the New York Rangers. So that was the last time the Coyotes, the last 2 times this season, the only 2 times the Coyotes have outshot an opponent. They were very close after 2, but like we said, the Islanders stormed back in the third to outshoot the Coyotes 34-29. But it didn't matter because Veggie stood on his head when it mattered. You know, shaky start for him, but he came through. Both teams 0 for 5 on the power play. However, Shayne Gostisbehere's goal in the first was seconds after the Islanders' penalty expired. So that it was essentially a power play goal. He wasn't even back in the action yet in that sense. But, you know, as far as numbers go for this team, PD, this might be the most even numbers I've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, this one you can look at the numbers and go, oh my gosh, they didn't get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
You know, like you usually look at the numbers and they might win the game, but you look at the numbers and they go, how? It's all Veggie.
Yeah.
But tonight it wasn't. Tonight, the only thing, the power play, and we're talking about the power play for just a minute.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So they're 0 for 5 again. It's an area of their game. They started off incredibly hot at the beginning of the season. Then they were a little inconsistent. Richie sat out a few games. Then he comes back in. Then Schmaltz was hurt, and he comes back in. And they haven't found that rhythm really since Schmaltz came back. Schmaltz and Chychrun came back in the same game, went right on the number 1 power play.
That was you can look at a graph and then see power play productivity start to fall.
And so tonight they mixed it up again, and they had Bjugstad to, I guess, is the number 1 power play because it was the only real change. Keller off, Bjugstad in. So it was, you know, Gostisbehere with Schmaltz. I had him written down because I knew I was going to do this. And I when I'm watching the game, I can sit there and get through it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. The Schmaltz, Richie, Bjugstad with Chychrun and Gostisbehere. And so that's your number 1 unit. And what puts Keller on the number 2 unit with Krause, Michelli, Mosier, and Boyd. Well, who's your number 1 unit? And what constitutes your number 1 unit? You have your 2 top goal scorers and Keller and Krause on what is called the second unit. And you usually go by who comes on the ice first as your first unit. Well, the Keller group started 4 of those 5. A lot of it was because Schmaltz or Gostisbehere or somebody was just getting off a shift, but that one seemed to be more dangerous. The Keller one's more dangerous, and I like Keller on the right circle. We talked about that earlier in the year with Keller on the left circle. He can't come over downhill and shoot. He's got him on the right circle now. I like him there better.
That's where he was to start the year. And when he moved, it felt almost unnatural that he was in a different
completely
space.
Agree.
And the power play definitely saw more looks tonight. I felt like they had more shots, and that was a big part of the reason they outshot the Islanders in the second period because they had multiple power plays. So the Islanders didn't even have a chance to get a shot on net. But we talked about this. I think it was last postgame. Just like you have to get shots on net if you want a chance to score to be close in games. And at least the Coyotes kind of stepped up to the plate with that tonight. And the power play did play a role in that despite them being 0 for 5.
Yeah, well, they had 8 shots on the power play. And I think what this does by putting Keller and separating him from the other group, I think this gives them a 1-2 power play punch that's dangerous for 2 complete minutes. And I think there's scoring threats on both of them. And I would, if they keep it together for a couple more games, I would think we would start to see them finally getting back into the scoring on the power play. And one of the additions, and I know I joke about Nick Bjugstad a lot, you saw what his shot can do, and he can beat a goalie clean there. So putting him in that bumper role and adding him to that first power play unit, I think it's a good move. And I think this makes them more dangerous for longer and spreads the depth out of their skilled players over 2 power plays. So I really like the move, and we'll see how it pays off over the games to come.
Yeah, and Jacob Chychrun looked hungry on the power play, especially after that miscalled offside.
Is he angry?
Oh, if he scored there, it would have been so great because he wanted it so bad. But he had a couple of those, like shots on net or a shot that went over the net. He was in it. So I definitely feel like, you know, the coaching staff is starting to stir it up, trying to get things going again. And, you know, like we said, Shayne Gostisbehere's goal, seconds after the power play ended, it was essentially a power play goal without being one. And it was a great goal. It went through a ton of guys. Like, it was actually shocking how it didn't hit anybody. O'Brien screening in front, Shayne Gostisbehere's 7th goal of the season, and he's been heating up after being a little bit. He was one of those like Richie who was really hot at the start and kind of cooled off, but he's kind of starting to pick up the pace again.
Yeah, well, let's go back to where you started with that one with Chychrun. Like, this is a guy that we've always said it. He wants to get out of here. Well, now he's playing like it again. He ends up +3 tonight. After all the minuses he had a year ago, he's +3 tonight with 2 assists, 10 shot attempts tonight. He's a different player. I thought he carried the puck up the ice well between the blue lines. I thought he was a real effective player tonight. And honestly, if he keeps playing like this, I think it's going to happen soon. Like
a trade?
Yeah, I think it's imminent now. I really do. And maybe I'm completely wrong. We'll have Craig check in later because he's dialed into what's really happening and talking to the GM. I'm just saying the way he's playing right now, scouts are not looking at him, looking at deficiencies in his game. And I know a year ago you could go, oh, yeah, but he can't defend, or he can't read the rush, or he's not tough enough in the corners. Well, all of those things he's doing right now are things he didn't do a year ago. So somebody's going to get willing to pay that price. It's going to happen. I think his contracts is great, and I think it's going to happen. I didn't know if he'd get that price until he came back, and now he's played. Now he's got a sample set, and I think someone's going to make that deal.
Yeah. Well, one of your keys to the game the other night was Chickaboom, Jacob Chychrun. He's been hot, and he stayed that tonight. 2 points, 2 assists. So let's look at your keys from tonight's game. Didn't involve Chychrun, but all things were relevant at one point or another tonight.
Yeah, well, I said win the first, and this is, as I said, neither one of these teams has lost in regulation if they won the first period. Well, the Islanders won the first period, and they lost the game, so that take that one off the list. Get through the blue lines. They didn't have those egregious errors. We were watching for a stretch in the third period where they turned it over a few times between the blue lines, but I thought they managed the puck really well tonight. I don't think they let the Islanders get their speed game going, their transition game, so I definitely count that as a win. And Veggie, well, he shut him out 2-0 on the island, and after the first few shots, we go, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was worried.
The key to the game might not be there.
He didn't look, I mean, for the past few games we were talking about, did the Coyotes trade Veggie? Like, he's been so great.
Exactly.
And then the first 5 minutes of this game happened. I said, But I will say, he did get it together.
Yeah, but when it needed to be, and he made the saves. But that's the way this team's been. That first period, it's been tough.
A struggle. That's been the period this year.
And last year was the second period they sucked. And this year, they just seem to get better as the game goes on. And honestly, that last minute and a half, I was concerned. With the Islanders pulled the goalie, the Islanders, they score the first one to get it within a 1-goal game, and they were tough. They had some good looks, pucks over the sticks, and I just felt bad for Keller. Gets the open net look.
Oh my God.
Schmaltz makes the pass across.
Everyone in the chat earlier was, I can't believe he missed it. On an empty net?
Empty net. He's straight down the middle of the ice.
If he had just taken like 2 more steps, he could have had it. He really could have.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see him follow his hat trick up with another hat trick.
It really would have, because he's been amazing. He had his 11th and 12th tonight. He's now just 1 behind Lawson Krause, who leads the team with 13. But like I said earlier, you know, the players that you're paying, the players that you want to be your goal scorers, like Clayton Keller, even like Lawson Krause, and we've talked about the criticism his contract got over the summer, but how he's performed. So Clayton Keller has really, really picked up the pace, and let's not forget, and we need to remind ourselves of this every once in a while, the injury that Clayton Keller came off of. But he's more than made up for it in the games. And I feel like he keeps getting better and better. Like we said, 2 goals tonight. He was +3 as well. And that is why Clayton Keller is tonight's DraftKings king of the game. 5 shots on goal as well. So
sorry, Nick.
Yes.
And that was Bjugstad, not Schmaltz.
And by the way, at one point, we were considering Travis Boyd for king because we felt like he earned it. He did have the game-winning goal at one point. Things obviously turned. We had to give it to Clayton Keller, but there's a few people tonight who deserve some flowers and praise, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Craig is on his way up.
Wow.
He said, and I quote, he said, "I think I just broke my headphones." So we'll see how this goes.
How does that happen?
But until he gets here,
like that's something my kid would say when he was a teenager. Like, how do you break your headphones walking up the stairs? How does that happen, Craig?
You like drop them in the crack of the elevator.
Be responsible.
I don't know.
Be responsible, Craig. So Keller's goals. I saw somebody. Where did it go? As pinball. Oh, Joel said it. Keller, pinball wizard. Like both goals are off of multiple Islander players.
Well, to clarify, it's not pinball wizard, it's pinballs wizard.
Pinballs.
I don't know if Joel said that by accident, but I'm gonna give you the credit either way.
We're thinking of you. I hope you're okay.
Romanov, pinballs wizard. Boy howdy.
Boy howdy.
There's the other one, and Joel said again. I'm gonna pull Joel twice up 2 of his comments. Barrett Hayton. Like, If anybody needed an empty net
my
goal,
God.
it was Barrett Hayton. He gets over the blue line and he couldn't. He got tangled up along the wall. He just needed to get an empty net goal. Like, he needs that goal.
He needs it.
And once he gets one, maybe the floodgates will open. But he's got to get that first one.
He did have an assist tonight, but
He's got to get that one.
yeah, it's been not a great year so far for Barrett Hayton. But on the other end, we got Clayton Keller, you got Nick Bjugstad, you got Lawson Krause, Chychrun. All of them have been really productive point producers. And if you want to bet on any of them on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and by the way, I wonder, and I saw a comment earlier, is Sean sweating a little bit about this Mullett Magic, the Buffalo Sabres in town tomorrow? I don't know. Do you ride the Mullett Magic? But if you're too afraid to go puck line or money line, you can always bet on anytime points, anytime or over like half a point, anytime goal scorer, first goal scorer, all these things you can bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Win yourself some money. And I'm sure there's some people out there who've been winning money off of Clayton Keller and Jacob Chychrun.
I would think so.
Because they've been right on it. So you can too. Download the app now. Sign up with the promo code PHNX. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And Sean went and saw the new Avatar tonight. Sean, did you take an OGs before you went and saw the new Avatar? I gotta know.
Cannot confirm or deny, but I can confirm that I did. Yes.
Okay.
Made the viewing experience that much better.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna take OGs and then watch any movie,
Avatar.
it would
Avatar's
probably be the new Avatar. We love OGs here. Seriously, they're so amazing, so delicious. You can eat them to go to sleep. There's a sleep edition gummy. You can take them for whatever need you have. They're scratch made here in Arizona with delicious flavors like orange creamsicle and pina colada, etc. And I think we only have one sigh on the OG's PD sigh counter tonight because it was a win. So there's not a lot. There's not a lot to sigh about tonight. No. A couple things as per usual, but
not late.
We're chilling. I mean, we're chilling. Yeah. So if you want to try OGs, you can, as always, you can find them at your local dispensary. You must be 21 or older to enjoy. I'm going to bring him up. Let's talk about Nick Bjugstad for a second.
Boogie.
Because he's been great, not just tonight, but so far this season, because he scored his 7th goal of the season tonight. Last season, it took him 57 games to do the same thing. And that's what he ended with. Wow. So something's working for Nick Bjugstad here in Arizona.
We talked about it when he came here. He was going to get a bigger role and a bigger opportunity than he's had in his previous teams. The Minnesota Wild, he was a 13th forward. He only played 57 games because he was a healthy scratch. He's getting a chance to play, and he's getting a chance to play big minutes. He's had some power play time now, so I think it's only natural that he's going to get some of these points. And he's an offensive kid. Like he gets to the net hard. He can shoot, which we saw tonight. And he can also distribute the puck. So I think his point total, but he said the year before that he had 6 goals. Now he's got 6, 7. He's already beaten his last couple of years. So I think his offensive outside is definitely there, which starts to concern you when it comes trade deadline.
You would hate to see your Minnesota boy go.
I know.
Well, now without further ado, he's made it headphoneless.
Wow.
It's Craig.
Craig, how do you break your headphones? How does it happen?
It's even worse when I tell you how it happened.
Please tell us.
I was pulling them out of my bag as I was coming up because, I'm trying to speed things up, right? Save time. And I dropped them and I stepped on them. All in one motion.
Craig, no.
Trying to save time and rush. And now this is a lesson to everybody out there. And as Tyson Nash would say, for kids at home, take a deep breath. Don't rush. Because these things happen.
Yeah.
Santa's coming, though, in a week. So I hope Tara's listening.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Well, Craig.
Anyway, wild game, huh?
Wild game. The home ice advantage is real for this team.
Seriously, 4-2-1 in this building. 3-0, by the way, since they moved into the annex. So just saying, there's a little magic going here. And I got to be honest, when they fell down 2-0, and they had beaten this team at UBS earlier in the season, I'm thinking, okay, this is a playoff team. This is a team that's built in many ways to make a deep playoff run. I think this game might be over. And nope.
I had the
We've
same
seen this
thought.
with the Coyotes so many times. The Coyotes will battle back. They keep battling back. Go ahead. Sorry.
And no, this is the difference from last year to this year. Like last year, if they were down by 5 minutes in, the game was over. Like there was no ability to fight back last year. They didn't have the offense to do it, and defensively, it would just continue to crumble from there. And this year, it's completely different. I think they're getting. I know Veggie would like to have that first one back for sure. The second one's a good tip that I think maybe he'd still like to have, but then he shut the door after that long enough to get this team back in the game. It was a big difference, and I think offensively, they've got so many more weapons than they had a year ago. And they had that veteran leadership group last year, but they weren't able to add to the offense. This year, there's so many different guys that are scoring. They're not out of games. And I know it's not a mix that you want to see in the rebuild, but they're not out of games anymore.
And they got a lot of home games, guys. Got a lot of home games coming. I mean, yeah. Is right. Is right. I wanted to mention something. Nick Schmaltz had 3 assists tonight. I think he was +4 on the night. I had talked to GM Bill Armstrong about him and had talked to Andre about him as well, just about how it would take him a little time to get his legs under him. You coming back from an injury, obviously you miss a lot of time. Andre said after the game he thought it was his best game, driving offense, and we saw it tonight. I mean, his possession numbers were actually just ridiculous tonight. He was a force offensively, and I know that's what they've been wanting to see from him. Bill Armstrong had told me that they're looking for him to get back to that level he was last season when he was just an elite point producer and offensive driver. Might be a sign tonight, and that line again, when all 3 guys are going and all 3 guys are at the top of their game with Travis Boyd and Clayton Keller, they can make things happen. Andre said an interesting thing to me tonight, and it's not something you would think of intuitively. He said, I think this line is better when they get on the forecheck. You would think, this is a playmaking line. They're going to hold the puck. They're going to want to keep possession. But he thinks they're more effective when they get the puck in deep, and they're not necessarily – they're clearly not a heavy line, but they're guys who can be in positions and get their sticks in the right spots where they can intercept pucks and create turnovers and create plays off of that, and you saw it tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, he had an unbelievable game tonight, and Craig, another person who continues to be productive is Jacob Chychrun, and we touched on it already about how he's been performing and how he's kind of living up to the Jacob Chychrun we saw before last season. Is there any more sense on the inside there of if Jacob Chychrun if a trade could happen anytime soon, or is this kind of a wait and see still?
It's definitely they're in a holding pattern here. I think part of what's happened here is a couple of the teams that we've talked about a lot as being in the mix for him are Ottawa and Columbus. I don't know if those teams are either willing to pay the price or if they're even in anymore because they both dropped to the bottom of the standings. It's not like either one of those teams thinks anymore, at Jacob Chychrun, we're going to be a playoff team. It's pretty clear that Columbus and Ottawa are not playoff teams. Maybe Ottawa could make the argument that for the future, we could add a player like that and maybe we'll emerge the way New Jersey has this year, but maybe that's something that goes all the way to the draft. I'm starting to wonder. I don't get the sense that the offers are coming right now. And the other side of this is there's just a lot of optics around giving up first-round picks. I'm not sure if teams are really excited about that prospect right now. And we know what Bill Armstrong's MO is. He's not going to lower his price. He's going to wait. If he has to wait till the draft, he'll wait till the draft. If he has to wait longer, he'll wait longer. He's not going to move this asset if he doesn't get what he wants, which could mean, crazy as it sounds, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if we get to the draft and it's the same scenario as last year, could Jacob Chychrun be a Coyote next year? It's crazy to talk about.
Well, I'm really glad you didn't turn into the beginning of the show because I just got done saying about 5 minutes ago with his play, his offensive output, his +3, and the shot attempts that his trade would be imminent. And now we're talking about having him play here all next year. Holy shit! Time for one of us to step aside.
This scenario, guys. And again, this is speculation. I want to make clear this is speculation.
Yeah, so is I. I'm just saying his play is showing that he is trying to get out of here. And there are areas of his game that I thought he struggled with a year ago that I no longer think he is struggling with. And if there's a team that needs it, he's playing like it.
Yeah, but imagine this scenario: you get to the draft, you get one of those players that we've been talking about forever. The Coyotes have another killer draft. does Jacob Chychrun's opinion change? I don't know. I don't know. But if you have another killer draft and you start to see a light at the end of the tunnel for this team, and then you think, oh, well, Chych would have gone to Ottawa if that had been a possibility. You still want to go to Ottawa? Is the grass greener there? I don't know. I don't know if it is.
That's an interesting point that I've literally never considered, because I just figured this was kind of a done deal, But it's definitely a possibility. You can't argue against it. The other thing I'll say too, again, speculation, is who knows the level of desperation that teams will have at the trade deadline. And there's still a few months between now and then. Who knows what injuries teams can experience, contending teams especially. So we'll see. I think if he's not gone by the trade deadline, it's definitely time to start thinking about him possibly coming back.
Wow.
Because we thought all summer long he was going to go.
You're right.
And forget about him not wanting to move, but like if Bill Armstrong even feels like they got Bedard, they got Fantilli, whatever, like maybe the asking price will drop a little as the years come off his deal. I have no idea. Just throwing that up.
But it's a good point that you made too. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 months, right? If injuries, like if we see more injuries to other teams, especially contending teams where they're suddenly desperate for a defenseman, maybe they come and pay the price. I don't know. It's a really good draft, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody's talking about this draft. It's deep in forwards, though. It's not deep in defensemen. So on the flip side of that, you worry, okay, where are the high-end defensemen coming from in this system? Are you going to have to do it through trades? Because, again, this is not a draft that is deep or particularly strong in high-end defensemen. At least that's the analysis right now. Everybody could be wrong because you're talking about 18-year-olds. But right now, it doesn't look like this is a strong draft for defensemen. So at some point, they're going to have to replace Jacob Chychrun in their system.
Yeah, it's a good
No,
point.
that's an issue because Connor Timmins is gone. So Victor Soderstrom hasn't been the player that they expected him to be. The Kyle Capobianco is gone. I mean, the depth at defense is not the strong point of this organization right now. And so losing a 24-year-old defenseman that can eat a lot of minutes and put up offensive numbers, that's a big loss. So I'm with you, Craig. I don't know what's going to happen. I know if the price is there and somebody like Thomas Wayne said in the chat, who's most desperate, it's still Toronto. But then you got to fit him in your cap. You got to be able to give up assets in the future. And boy, I tell you what, if you're going to look at a trade under the microscope, make a trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs because they're going to look at it 6 ways from Sunday before, during, and after the trade. So you better get it right. So we'll see.
Timmins is already up for the Norris in Toronto.
I know. I heard that. Canoris Timmins.
Oh my gosh. Craig, another player we've been more jokingly than Jacob Chychrun, who we've been seriously talking about being a trade candidate all season long, has been Vejmelka, who has kind of defied expectations so far this season. Obviously, tonight, we already talked about it. It wasn't his best night. It wasn't his worst night. But do you have any more thoughts on whether or not Vejmelka is a piece that Bill Armstrong would consider trading?
I don't see it happening. A couple things. First of all, one that we've talked about a lot on this show is just the morale side of it. When you have a player of his caliber and you're a rebuilding team, you don't want to cut the legs out from under the guys. We saw what happened when Carter Hutton was here. It's nice to get a couple extra wins, right? It's nice to feel good about yourself, and Vejmelka can mask some things when he's playing at the top of his game. He's done that obviously a lot this season. That's one thing. The other side of this is I just don't think there's enough of a body of work for Vejmelka for another team to come and say, oh, we're gonna give up big time assets for Vejmelka. I still don't think we really know what he is yet. I don't think he has the track record of a Darcy Kemper where you could say, yeah, I'm prepared to give up a first round pick for him. The only scenario under which I could see him getting traded is if you get a team in a desperate situation. And by the way, Colorado was in a desperate situation. They lost Grubauer to Seattle and their cup window was open. They needed somebody. There was nobody out there other than Darcy Kemper. So they had to make that deal, and they were in a bidding war with Edmonton. So if you get into a situation like that, or if you get a team that maybe loses a couple goalies to injury and suddenly, what are we doing? We're a contender, we think, but we don't have a goaltender. I guess there could be a scenario like that where the Coyotes would certainly listen for a trade offer. But I don't see it happening with Vejmelka. I know there's been some chatter recently, but I just don't see it happening.
All right, so that dream we can put to rest. Not that we want him to be traded. That thread we can put to rest for now. But staying future focused for one moment. I know we've kind of gotten off this game, but there's just a lot we haven't talked in a few days, or I haven't talked to you guys in a few days. Team USA announced their World Junior Hockey roster today, and both Logan Cooley and Sam Lipkin made Team USA, 2 Coyotes prospects, a first-round prospect and a 7th-round pick. So, Craig, awesome for the Coyotes to have not only Logan Cooley, who we kind of all expected, but Sam Lipkin, who's kind of a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, he's definitely a surprise, and that tells you just what he's been doing in his career, developing, and also what he did in camp, obviously. Now, I don't know what their lines are going to look like. I think there were 14 forwards on that final roster, so I don't know how much of a regular he's going to be, but just to get that honor to make that team says a lot about what Sam Lipkin has done.
Wow, I get really good seats to watch that Canadian team win the whole thing.
Are you trying to?
Oh, buddy, do you see their roster?
Yeah, their roster.
Tilly, Bedard, like Gunther.
If they don't win, it'll be a major.
Yeah, that team's
get out your DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Yeah, that's a hell of a hockey team. I'm excited to see the tournament, Craig, and I want to see Logan Cooley play. I'm excited to see that, and let's see what Bedard can do on a world stage. So I
actually
can't wait
am getting out my DraftKings Sportsbook app. I'm just curious if the odds are out.
It's Team Canada all day long.
I know, but I'm just curious what they are. I'm gonna look. And while I'm looking, Craig, one more thing before we let you go. Well, 2 more things. First of all, there's a youth hockey tournament this weekend across the valley that we wanted to let people know about. It's really cool.
I'm reading that since I don't have my eyes on.
I'll read it for you. But Craig sent us all the details. So a Tier 1 Elite League National Midget Showcase. 60 teams. This is in Arizona, by the way, just to re-emphasize. 20 midget 18s.
20 under 18s, under 20 under 16s, and 20 under 15 teams. So you got some of the best hockey players in the country, age 15 to 18. Games are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
120 games. 120
games at the Ice 10 Scottsdale, Ice 10 Chandler. And honestly, if you need a little hockey fix, jump on the Ice 10 website, and they'll have their schedules for both the Chandler and the Scottsdale games. And this is really good hockey. These are not your NHL players of tomorrow. This is the NHL players of tomorrow's tomorrow. These are your college players, your major junior players, your Western League players over the next couple of years. So if you get a chance and you want to go catch a little hockey, and I was going to say escape the heat, but clearly that's not a problem right now in this frigid winter of Arizona in the 50s. Go check out some of these kids playing hockey.
And big college scout presence too. WHL, USHL, BCHL, AJHL. And then this is a fun little tidbit too. The Junior Coyotes under 16 team won both games today. First Victory Honda and
who?
Buffalo Sabres, who are a top 10 national ranked team. Coyotes
you know who one of those scouts is going to be at this tournament, Petey?
I don't.
This one. Maybe you won't love this one quite as much because it's not your school, but it's another Minnesota tie. University of Minnesota Golden Gophers coach Bob Motzko will be here to watch.
Bob Motzko was here, former St. Cloud State Husky coach
and
too. And World Junior coach.
Junior Coyotes coached by Dallas Drake, Taylor Pyatt, and Dave Ellis.
That's a heck of a coaching crew.
And the older team by Mike DeAngelis and Sully, right? So
a lot of Coyote ties at that tournament.
Oh, Thomas said,
and Thomas Wayne's nephew
is playing in the tournament.
From the chat.
Love it.
His nephew's in the tournament.
Love it.
So go check out some great youth hockey.
Seriously.
Yeah, go ahead. Chandler or Scottsdale. I mean, there's 120 games.
That's awesome.
120 games. That's
like we were sitting here fiddling our thumbs because the Coyotes were on the road for 14 games, and now they're home on a back-to-back Friday, Saturday night. You got all these youth games. Yep. So check it out. Definitely check it out this weekend, especially during the day tomorrow on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Craig, any other notes in general from tonight's game before we let you go?
I'm just wondering if this place is becoming a real home ice advantage. 4-2-1 in this building. They're playing well in this building, guys. Listen, it's great for fans to see this, right? You love coming to a game and watching the home team win. it's not great for the plan.
Well, we'll see tomorrow. Like, they got Tage against the Machine coming in. And by the way, they were there today. So they flew in late last night. The Buffalo Sabres did. They practiced at the Mullett today. And we'll see if that Old Town Scottsdale Mill Avenue flu catches the Buffalo Sabres for tomorrow. We'll see.
Got to be Connor Ingram tomorrow. So we'll see.
We'll see.
That's true. That's true. All right, Craig. Well, we'll let you go, and we'll see you tomorrow night for round 2.
Right back at it. All right, guys.
All right. Bye. Get some new headphones.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Craig. Oh, man. Well, like we said, lots of Coyotes home games, it feels like. And with this juju, I guess you can say, at home, it's a great time. That was a really entertaining game. My roommate was actually at the game. By the way,
we saw her.
This is my special shout out to Kylie. During the Nick Ritchie fight kind of in the corner, there was somebody standing up in the second row cheering, and they were wearing a Cody the Coyote shirt. You might have seen it. That was my roommate who was at the game. Her first time at Mullett Arena, first time at a Coyotes game since I think she and I went in 2020 when it was only like 1,000 people in the 17,000 seat arena, whatever that was. But great game. Goals, fights, yeah. Power play, like tons of power plays, close at the end. One goal game, tie up late. It really had, or not tie up late, but make it close late. It really had everything you can ask for. Tara
just said
Cat stole Craig's headphones, found them under the couch. Wow.
Just saying that there's some
the truth comes
I'm
to
not
light.
Quite sure what happened.
I don't know what to believe.
I'm on Team Tara all day long.
I don't know.
Just saying.
I don't know what to believe. But anyway, check out a game. Get out to a game. They've been a blast. And if you buy your tickets on Game Time, it's the lowest prices guaranteed, especially when you buy the day of the game. So if you want to go to the Buffalo Sabres game tomorrow, go on the Game Time app tomorrow, and you'll save up to 60% on tickets. Yep. I'm actually going to Las Vegas next week, and I will be there when the Buffalo Sabres continue on their southwest swing and play the Golden Knights, and I'm planning to use the Game Time app to buy tickets to that game, and I've been checking, and a month ago they were in the 50s. As of yesterday, they were 36, so I can only imagine what they'll be on Monday.
Can you work during that a little bit? I mean, it's the Beast of the East versus the Best in the West. Like, that's, you got to get
Beast
at least send
East.
one.
I'll send a tweet.
Send a tweet.
But yeah, I can't wait
T-Mobile.
to use Game Time. I've literally just been watching the price drop as we get closer. So if you want to buy last minute tickets for discounted rate, check out the Game Time app. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link below in our description. And while you're at a game, grab a Four Peaks beer. I mean, hockey and beer, what goes better? I'm surprised you didn't break out a kill lifter tonight. And we're really excited because we have a special event coming up, and it's the inaugural PHNX Tea Party, that's TEE, presented by Four Peaks at Dobson Ranch Golf Course. We got out there the other day for our all-staff meeting. This place is amazing. I didn't really know what to expect.
I didn't either.
I thought it was just a driving range.
Same.
Turns out you can like play a course, but kind of virtually on the screens, but you're hitting from a stationary place. It's absolutely unbelievable. And on January 13th at 5:30 p.m., we're renting out the entire driving range. Come hang with the Big Drive Energy crew, the PHNX crew, and fellow diehards for a night of golf, food, drinks, contests, prizes, and more. Our PHNX Suns crew will be hosting a watch party for the Suns vs. Timberwolves. Four Peaks will be out there providing beer samples and swag. Sign me up just for that. Check the link in the description to just reserve your spot right now. And for our diehards, check Discord for your special link where you'll save 20% on this awesome event. It really does pay off to be a diehard. It's $45 per person, but diehards is only $36. So we always talk about being a diehard. You save money on events, save money on merch. This is a perfect example of that. It's going to be a really, really, really fun event. We can't wait. And there's going to be heaters out there. Don't worry, we've been told there will be
cold.
There will be plenty of heaters because we are a cold bunch here.
Yeah, it's like video games and golf and beer all mixed into one.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I don't see a problem.
It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be an absolute blast. So we hope to see a lot of you there. Craig mentioned it already. This isn't quite going according to plan. I mean, if you pull up the standings, the Coyotes are still 29th. They're
Anaheim finally wins.
Anaheim finally won, and they're not in last anymore.
No.
And guess who is?
Those Chicago Blackhawks at CHGO.
The Chicago Blackhawks.
Really?
And they lost again tonight. They now lead the race for Bedard with 18 points for 32nd place. Anaheim, 19 points. Columbus, 22. And Arizona now 24 points. So they're still behind San Jose, still behind Philly. I mean, they're starting to put some distance between them and Chicago. And like Craig mentioned, there's a ton of home games ahead. They have this crazy home ice advantage going on. Should we start getting worried? Or we're seeing Shayne Gostisbehere pick up the pace. We're seeing these players who are maybe going to put themselves in a position to be traded. And then once they start kind of cleaning house, maybe this chemistry will fall apart a little bit. Should we be worried?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why, because everything you just said about the Coyotes is exactly what they're saying about the Blackhawks. They're looking at trading Patrick Kane. Tennessee might get traded.
And the Coyotes have had Vejmelka.
Yeah, and their goaltending has not been good.
Vejmelka has been far more consistent this year than he was last year.
Yep. And that's the difference. Chicago's bottom 5 in the league in goals against. They're struggling to keep the puck out of the net. And their chemistry is only going to get made worse at the trade deadline. I had the guys from CHGO on here, and I said the Coyotes would clearly be last.
We
Not
were
anymore.
sure.
Yeah, Chicago. I don't see how the Coyotes can fall farther than the Chicago Blackhawks right now.
Yeah, and fourth last, and let's just say the lottery fell how the teams fell, which we know isn't always the case, obviously, since the Coyotes always seem to fall. But if the Coyotes were to draft fourth, this is the draft you want to be in the top 3, and it's an amazing draft overall in terms of talent. But you're not going through this suffering to pick 7th.
No, and that's the big fear.
And you know what? If they end up picking 3rd, it's okay. Yeah. Because but you want to be in the top 2.
And this is the problem with the Coyotes year after year after year is you get in that 20 to 15 range and you pick 8 to 10 or 7. They got to get last. They really need the bottom 2. I mean, 3, you can still survive on the bottom 3, but you really want the bottom 2. If you got Adam Fantilli coming or Connor Bedard coming, it changes everything. So, I mean, there's still a lot of hockey left. I still want to see him compete. I still want to see him work hard like this. I want to see him stay close in games. I want him to be exciting.
Kind of like what they did versus San Jose.
Exactly. 100%. Exactly. And they have to do it against those teams. They have to do it against Chicago, Anaheim, and the teams that are below them, Columbus in the standings. But I tell you what, this Mullett factor might be the difference. If they can continue to play like this at home, and honestly, and I joke about the Scottsdale Old Town flu, that's real. I mean, it's going to be hard to be focused in this building because guys are going to say, "Oh, we're playing in the small building. Oh, it's
the Coyotes.
Oh, it's the Coyotes," and the Coyotes are going to sneak up and bite teams, and they did it again today.
I will say they've really established an identity for themselves, and I really respect them. But I will respect them more if they fall to the bottom and drops Bedard or Fantilli. But oh man. We'll get there in a little bit. But let's look at the upcoming schedule because it's a big one for our producer, Sean. Tomorrow night.
Tage.
Tage is coming. He's coming home.
I tell you what, though.
He's coming home.
We already talked about game time. If you get a chance to go see Tage Thompson live, this kid is special. And I know we talk about McDavid a lot and Matthews a lot. This kid is electric and unfortunately doesn't get the media attention. No, I'm sorry, Sean. But he's in Buffalo and he's not getting the recognition because the team's not playing as well right now. But this kid is unbelievable hockey player. He's big, he's tall, he's strong, he's offensively gifted. If you get a chance to go watch him, go watch him. And he's one of those players you buy a ticket to go see.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's my Tage Thompson pitch.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see him play here.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he can beat the Mullett magic, but he's a good player.
Or he will be the one to do it.
Maybe he will.
It is the age of Tage after all.
Oh boy. And then next week, obviously, Montreal home on Monday, 8 p.m. at home.
Wait, who did that?
Vegas Wednesday, 8 p.m. I mean, Vegas is toward the top of the league. What? And then LA on Friday, 7:30 before the holiday break there. So, the schedule doesn't get any easier because you think they're home and then they're gone and then they're back. Coyotes and I are going to be in Vegas at the same time for a hot minute.
How about that?
I know. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That means you're leaving me and Sean in charge?
I am. Sean will be hosting the show on Monday, but
fantastic.
I'll still be here tomorrow.
And Craig won't be here either because he'll be at the game.
He will.
Oh,
he
boy.
Will. Yeah, imagine if Sean was hosting the Buffalo Sabres one.
I don't think I could do that. I don't think I can do that.
I don't know if the chat would put up with that either.
Also, I love this because Scott just in the chat just said, would you throw Michelli in as a sweetener on a Chychrun deal? And everyone's saying no.
Yeah. Hang on to that kid for a little while.
Yeah.
We're not sure exactly. I saw someone earlier in the chat say, what's his ceiling? I'm not sure yet, but the kid's really, really talented. So I'd hang on to him for just a shade.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since he's toward the top of rookie scoring here. Well, let's pull up the punch card really quickly before we wrap up. We started a new line with a win. The first win to start a line.
Yeah, wow. It's a new trend.
Something new. So we'll see how the rest of it goes.
It is. I don't want to say flying by because it's actually not flying by, but we're on a fourth line already. So
that's crazy. I know. Yeah. Third of the way. Third of the way, Petey.
Let's go.
LFG, as they say. Let's go. I can't believe how fast it's going. And I know. You know what? All of those stars, all those rows, all those empty rows, I see it as a possibility for the Coyotes to lose more games. So let's not, get crazed yet about, it's over. They have no more chance. You never know. Maybe they can. And I mentioned we saw Cody the Coyote on TV tonight.
Yep.
Petey's wearing his.
Yeah, I got what do we call this?
The mosaic.
The mosaic. I don't know. They have names. Christmas is coming, and if
Christmas
it's probably a little late. No, it's not because I made an order. I ordered and it shipped right away. So ordered last night and they shipped today.
You have just over a week until Christmas.
And I think the sweatshirts
Hanukkah
are
starts
just getting
Sunday,
in.
but Hanukkah's 8 days, so you have time.
Yeah, so you have time.
Go to the PHNX locker right now. Place an order for t-shirts, hats, stickers. You can even get. I've gotten some stickers. We have Cody on a sticker. Cody is on a sticker. True. You can grab that in the PHNX locker and become a diehard because you get 20% off merchandise and you get diehard only merchandise as well. And when you sign up to become a diehard, you get a free shirt or hat from the locker. Not just when you sign up, but every year after. So become a diehard today. Check out gophnx.com/diehard to join the family. And also, a lot of people are off this week because it's winter break. Some people take time off work. If you're looking for some activities, it's a little chilly out there. I'm not going to lie. I have a great suggestion for you. Head on over to Octane Raceway and Mavericks, where we have been
there today.
Really?
Yes.
Where we have been
Christmas
to both places. They're right next to each other.
Yes.
For our staff meetings.
Yes.
So much fun. Oh my goodness. Octane Raceway, go-karting, there's an arcade, there's a bar, there's food, Mavericks, there's more bars than I can count.
Yep.
Bowling, arcade
video
games, laser tag, food, Four Peaks on tap.
Again, yeah, like I talked about this last time. Me and my son, like that's a family outing. Can you imagine beer, bowling?
Family, friends, date night. You want to give somebody a gift?
Date night.
Like take them on an experience. Yeah. Just saying. And they have daily specials every day. $15 unlimited fun pass on Mondays, 50% off taco trios on Tuesday, half price arcade games on Wednesday, big bucket $20 beer bucket, spit it out on Thursdays, Friday night trivia, and then Saturdays and Sundays 50% off signature bowling before noon. So
did you drive the go-karts?
I did not because I had a go-kart trauma when I was a
so
child.
I get that. So I got in these go-karts, and you think of like I was in these little ones in Minnesota, and this little, it's not that. It's like you put the gas on, and you go, whoa, boy howdy! Like they're like it's big boy racing there. Like it's put a helmet on,
fun.
Let's go.
It's
like there's
super
some speed.
Fun. It's
like,
and you get like a printout of your times. It's really cool. It's really official.
It's fast.
So check it out for yourself. Octane Raceway and Mavericks. We're really excited to welcome them to the PHNX family.
And Sterling saying go there. Like it is fun. We're not making that up.
No, like. We've been there. I've actually been to Mavericks multiple times outside of our staff meetings.
Roaring Fork, like PD playing laser tag. Can you see that?
That would be electric. We should put a GoPro on you.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Laser tag or paintball.
I won laser tag when I played it there last. Yeah.
You also beat us in bowling last.
Oh, and I beat Sean in toe train
laser
bowling.
tag. I'd probably just walk out and get shot. Like,
no.
You don't think?
No, I think you would take it.
Think
seriously.
I'd be pretty competitive?
Yeah, I do. Also. Thomas Wayne said, got the jacket tonight. So excited for it.
We saw the jackets. I think, and I thought about this, I haven't said this out loud yet. Leah, Sean, Petey, Craig Morgan in the exact same design. Like who wouldn't be all over that jacket?
What?
Like it had Schmaltz, Chychrun, Vejmelka,
Keller. Oh, like the
and put the hoodie on the
PHNX.
back instead of the Kachina.
Yes.
Yeah.
The PHS logo in the middle, and then the four of us painted artistically.
It's Craig with like streaks across when he calls in and his camera's smudged.
Exactly. Now that's a jacket.
All right, I'm in. Coming soon to the PHNX locker.
There we go. I saw a few in the crowd. What I didn't understand though is how do you get it in the crowd if you had to donate to get it? I don't understand.
Maybe
how that works.
people donated before.
Before? Oh.
And by the way,
Maybe you
to
could.
those who were able to donate,
That's really cool.
and I do want to acknowledge this before we head out tonight, the Phoenix Children's Hospital, they did a telethon tonight, an amazing cause. If you're able to donate, the work that they do there is tremendous, and they deserve our support. To the people who work there and to the families who unfortunately have to go there. You know, our heart goes out to all of you. And if you're able to financially contribute in any way to Phoenix Children's Hospital, it's a wonderful cause. And especially this holiday season, a great time to give back to the community. And
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw that in the chat earlier. We just want to shout out to Regina Hall and her son, Chris. I'm a big believer in positive thoughts going out in the universe, helping people. So if you've got a chance to say your bedtime prayers or put positive thoughts, whatever it is you believe in, put it out there for Chris, because I think it makes a difference. So Regina, we're praying for you.
Absolutely. And Kenny said over $57,000 raise.
Fantastic.
So
good.
That's shout out to the Coyotes community for
Fantastic.
that. PD, let's put a bow on this one.
Yep.
Let's
get ready for the Sabre wagon tomorrow.
Yeah, we're right back at it. Back to back.
Yep.
Back to back. Shout out to the schedule makers for this one, because we got a lot more of them coming in January. Buckle up, everybody. Well, like we said, we'll be back tomorrow night for the postgame show. So subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube and wherever you get your audio episodes. Subscribe there as well. And leave us a review and leave us a written review. I go through and I read the reviews, and they mean a lot to us when you do that. So please do that as well. And you can follow all of us on Twitter. You can follow Craig at Craig S. Morgan, me at Leah Merrill, PD at S. Peters Hockey, Sean at Sean_DePaz. And Sean, are you going to the game tomorrow?
I will be making an appearance for at least the first half of the game.
So expect some content.
Some content from the Mullett.
If you're going to be there, feel free to come up to me and talk some good shit. What's the word I'm looking for?
It is all in good fun.
Good fun.
Sean.
Shit and good fun. But
Sean loves his hometown, but he loves it here too.
I do.
And sports allows you to do both.
And it's convenient because right now we're in a situation where if the Sabres win tomorrow, it's beneficial for the Coyotes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're right.
You know what? I'm team that
Sabre
happening.
wagon.
Truly. Close game, though.
Yeah.
Close, competitive
Paige
game.
Thompson will get 4 goals. Clayton Keller will get 3.
There you
Everyone will be, Chychrun will have assists on all of them.
Perfect.
Everyone will be
Perfect.
happy.
Love it.
Coyotes three in a row at the Mullett. 5-4 over the Islanders. Wow.
There's some Mullett magic happening, and they'll be right back at it tomorrow night. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight in the chat. We'll talk to you tomorrow.